Hey, where was I? Welcome back, everyone. Pleb Underground, the signal without the slop. I just got to make sure I could get onto the stage. Okay, guys, lots of news today. You know what? I figured I'm going to scrap the whole format. We're just going to be so bullish. People's, you know what? Your faces are going to melt and your pants are going to fall off. Probably not. But yeah, definitely have some bullish news. Let's dive into what we are going to be covering. Howard Lutnick got some very positive comments about Bitcoin, to no surprise. Paper Bitcoin summer, guys. I've been telling you every single day, it doesn't end. Do you think today is going to be any different? Of course not. We're going to take a look at a few of the announcements. Some actual good news in the, I guess you'd say, in the signing device, the hardware device space, right? Spectre do-it-yourself is back. That's right. I had to break mine out. I actually do have one of these things from quite a few years ago. You were able to build it yourself, or you could order it directly from them. It is a do-it-yourself signing device based off of an ESP32 board. Yes, that is nerd speak, and most people have no idea what I said, but it doesn't matter. You can build it yourself. Anyways, we're also going to take a look at Scott Bessent, huh? They're really going to crack down on the Fed? I mean, the words are good. The words are nice to make me feel good, but what's really happening with that? Steak and Shake's got a new Bitcoin ad. I don't know. Maybe we'll take a look at that ad. See what you guys think about that. As well, what else do we have? What's his name here? This guy from Strive, Scott. What is it? Scott Cole, the CEO of Strive. So, anyways, there's another interview with him today, and I can't help it. I gotta make fun of this stuff. I don't know why I can't help it. You know, call me cynical, call me bitter. It doesn't matter. But I am definitely going to make fun of it. I'm going to remind everyone the embarrassing video that he did at the Bitcoin conference where he talked to absolutely nobody, but pretended that he was on the phone with Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, it's going to be a fun show, guys. It's going to be a fun show. We're going to laugh. We're going to cry. Faces are going to melt. Pants are going to fall off. Let's do it. Metaphorically, pants are falling off. Anyways, here we go. First, you know the deal. We're going to show some love to the Pleb Underground sponsor, and we are going to be right back to dive into all of this funness. Here we go.
Pleb Underground is sponsored by Archimedes Emporium. Discover the pinnacle of precision engineering, starting with their Bitcoin logo wall clock, meticulously machined in Maine from a solid block of aerospace-grade aluminum, ensuring unparalleled durability and performance. Experience the difference of a product made without compromise. Head on over to Archimedes Emporium.
Okay, let's start right away with the stuff that I like, right? The do-it-yourself hardware wallets. As you guys saw, I've got mine over here. This thing, I haven't charged it in I don't know how many years, and like, look at that. This thing still works. it's pretty good, and you have an extra little layer of safety with programmable smart cards, right? So you actually cannot even access the wallet without the combination of cards. Anyways, look, I think it's very cool. Super happy for the Spectre desktop team. For the people who are not familiar with this product, Spectre actually had two products, to my knowledge. Okay, there is the do-it-yourself hardware wallet, and then there's also the desktop application that you could either load yourself or as part of a node, right? Like, most people know that there's standalone nodes available, right? These turnkey solutions like the Umbrel, like the MyNode, like the Start9. And there's at least three others that I can't think of. I think Citadel as well. There's like a Citadel node. Anyways, point being, you can install these apps on those nodes. And in particular, Spectre Desktop is a multi-sig tool. Okay, so you can actually host your own multi-sig, right? You don't have to use a third party, right? You don't have to expose any of your information to a third party. Now, granted, there are, of course, trade-offs to this, because now your entire multi-sig is contained with you, whereas with a third party, even though I don't suggest it, there is that aspect of being able to mitigate some type of a wrench attack, because, of course, now all of a sudden the wrench attacker must go and confront the third party. So yeah, Anyways, I still think it's great. Super happy to see Spectre Desktop is back into the wild. Thank you very much, Swan Bitcoin. I remember when you guys bought them or took them over. And oh, this is I like that. Yes, greetings and hallucinations to us and to you as well. But yeah, you know, Swan took it over, and then for like 2 years, it's like Spectre just disappeared, it seemed, right? Anyways, now they're back. Looking forward to seeing what they're doing, guys. I'm excited. I will be shilling your product, even though you don't sponsor me. Anyways, I don't care. Nobody cares. All right, moving on. Moving on. You know what? Let's maybe we'll dive into some hopium here. Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's take a look at some hopium. We're gonna build up the paper Bitcoin stuff. Here we go.
You know, pivoting to crypto, we've been bullish on Bitcoin for a while now, is that we think that it will continue to move higher, and having cheaper money, increased money supply, institutionalization, the legislation that's passed, support from the administration, all of this should continue to be very positive for Bitcoin. And we think this, you know, rally that we've seen will continue.
Okay, so obviously it's green light. All right, skies are blue, not a cloud there. We're going to the moon. All right, that's it. I love it. I love seeing all of the all the mainstream media people feed us all of this good stuff. Yeah, it's some great hopium. I'm not shitting on it. I just think it's funny, right? Where were these guys with Bitcoin at 3K, right? Where were they at 3K? Where were they at Bitcoin at 15K, right? It's like now all of a sudden over 100K, they're like, yeah, you know, we see the landscape. We can see all the institutions coming here. Like, yeah, good job, bud. Way to go. Way to go. We appreciate your hopium. Anyways, all right, enough with that video. Let's move on to some paper Bitcoin, right? Why not? Why not? We want some of the face melting stuff. Let's do the paper Bitcoin stuff. Here we go. All right, so $614 billion Murray asset increased its position in strategy by 25% and now holds more shares. Okay. It's good stuff, I guess. I don't know. I don't really care about them buying more shares. All right, next. Metaplanet plans to raise $880 million via share offering to fund fresh Bitcoin purchases. Is this the same news from like 4 days ago? I'm not even sure anymore. But I'll tell you this, they're diluting shareholders. It's paper Bitcoin summer. Bless everybody's heart who thinks that this is a good thing. And by the way, there's this accretive dilution thing that like I'm hearing this nonsense. It's like verbal diarrhea. Okay, look, I hate to break it to everyone, but do you know how dilution is accretive? When they actually increase the amount of money that they bring in per share, right? It's not about the, like, I know that everybody, all of us sit there and think, oh, it's about the Bitcoin that you hold per share. Wall Street doesn't give a shit about the Bitcoin that they hold per share. Okay. The only way that a accretive dilution occurs is when the shares actually increase. Sorry, when their per share value actually increases. And that's usually in the form of free cash flows and operating income that is positive, so on and so forth. So anyways, I just, yeah, these guys are going to be diluting to stay alive. It doesn't surprise me. It shouldn't surprise you. But yeah, hey, guess what? Look, they hold 18,991 Bitcoin. They are definitely doing their best to catch up to MicroStrategy at their 600K Bitcoin. Good luck with that. But look, they're making a valiant effort, and I think that Metaplanet may understand the writing is on the wall, and you need to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible to spin out as many derivative products as quickly as possible in order to do your best to stay alive. The cheerleaders aren't going to tell you that, though. They're going to tell you that this is like it's the next revolution, and these businesses are going to stop the next bear market because all of a sudden human behavior has changed. Like, it's fucking nonsense. All right, moving on. Let's see who else is having fun during paper Bitcoin summer. H100. This is Adam Back's other thing. So Adam Back, I think, is involved in SEPO and this H100 group. Anyways, they just bought 46.2 Bitcoin. They now hold 957.5 Bitcoin. Yay. More Bitcoin. Good stuff. Price keeps going down. We don't know why, but hey, they keep buying more Bitcoin, so it's all good. All right. Let's see if there's any new players to the Bitcoin treasury game. Okay. Oh, all right, here we go. So we've got CIMG Inc., or ticker IMG. They're going to issue. No way. They're going to dilute you. What? They're diluting shareholders? Oh, man, I'm surprised. In exchange for 500 Bitcoin. Now, I know, you think I'm cynical and everything. Just saying, guys. This is the monthly chart on this absolute bag of shit. And you can see here, right? You can see here, this was a giant pump and a dump. Now, what I outlined down here is the split. They did a 1 for 35 reverse split. That means for every 35 shares of this piece of crap that you held, they gave you 1 share back. And you'll notice the pattern continues to go down because they're not actually making any money. All right. All they're doing is diluting shares and they're playing games. It's just fucking shenanigans. Okay. They reversed their shares so that the price would go up, but they don't actually have good fundamentals. So the price continues to go down. And the only way they can stay alive is by continuing to reverse split their shares to raise the value so that way they can continue to meet index requirement minimums. But hey, these companies, like, they're the future of finance, right? This is how the big banks started, right? Like Morgan Stanley, the same thing, Goldman Sachs, same thing. Anyways, I'm not trying to say that those guys are great and these people are not. I'm just trying to explain that those people knew how to make money and these people just know how to grift people. That's all there is to it. Anyways, moving on. Another interesting one is, look at this, guys. Canadian public company Red Light Holland. Now, I had to go look this up. Because, of course, the name Red Light Holland immediately conjures up the red light district, Amsterdam. And so I was like, okay, let's just go Google this thing and see what this is. So this is actually psychedelics. Pretty interesting. I mean, like, I'm not going to say I don't like that stuff. I'm just not really 100% sure how much money that really makes. Nevertheless, Canadian public company, right? TRUFF has bought $341,000 worth of Bitcoin ETF shares. So they're just buying IBIT. Here's their monthly chart. I know. The pattern is always the same. It's pretty scary stuff. The pattern is always the same. Anyways, do with this what you will. Oh, wait, hold on. What is this? Anyone else's mind flash to the Bee Gees? Not that old. Come on. Not that old. A Gen Xer. Okay, anyway, so look, do with this what you will. All right. To me, it's just the same thing again and again, right? Maybe this business is actually able to sell their product. I'm not shitting on psychedelics or anything like that. I just know that throughout history, the government has had a very hard time allowing the rails for these types of products to really make inways. Nevertheless, that doesn't mean that can't happen. These kind of charts are red flags for me, and I stay away. That's all. I stay away. And look, I may miss out opportunities. That's perfectly fine, right? I don't trade stocks, so I don't really care. But to me, I look at this stuff and I'm like, I'll leave it to somebody else. Somebody with somebody a lot younger with a lot more risk appetite that doesn't understand how to read a chart. That's fine. It's all good. No, I'm kidding. Hey, look, you know what? If there's somebody buying, there's somebody selling. I'm just being mean. Okay, moving on. All right, I'm done. I'm done with the fun of paper Bitcoin summer. Let's get into some more hopium. All right, I've drowned everybody's happiness enough. Back to the happiness. Here we go. This is a quick clip from Howard Lutnick. Here we go, guys. We're setting up. The bull run isn't over. You got to believe Howard.
Regulatory environment was good. You will see all the traditional financial service companies, the big banks, the big brokerage companies, they're all going to go headfirst into Bitcoin pond. That's what's going to happen, and it's coming. And when that happens, you're going to see Bitcoin move in a very, very strong positive direction. So that's why I'm a fan of Bitcoin. It's going to go much higher. It always bounces around like any other financial asset, but ultimately over the next 5 years, as it gets invited into this party.
I like the way he said that. We gotta listen to what they say. right? Bitcoin's getting invited to the party. You know that that line that I've been saying, that Wall Street, I've been quoting Jim Chanos on this one, that Wall Street has handed the money printer over to the Bitcoin companies. That's exactly, that is exactly what that is, right? Like, that's exactly what that is. Hey, you've got a seat at the table now. You're one of us. Make no mistake, we are not one of them. Okay. That's no, I don't have a mouse in my pocket, but I'm just saying the average pleb, the average person like me, like, it's a big club and I am definitely not in it. Definitely not in that club. Nor would I want to be either. Anyways, speaking of the big club, are we actually going to clean up the Fed? Scott Bessent, he's saying some strong words.
Well, a couple of things here, Maria. You know, there are two kinds of people. There are people who think that President Trump is putting undue pressure on the Fed, and there are people like President Trump and myself who think that if a Fed official committed mortgage fraud, that this should be examined, and that they shouldn't be serving as one of the nation's leading financial regulators. And you know what we haven't heard from Ms. Cook is we haven't heard her say, "I didn't do it." We haven't heard her say, "I didn't do it." She just keeps saying the president can't remove her. The other thing too that I have called in the recent past for an internal.
Okay. I want you guys to, because I mean, in all fairness, I've got links to the full clips and everything. The whole point of the show is not to sit there and watch the whole thing, unless it's short enough, of course, you know, but definitely not going to watch that whole interview. Now, the reason why I'm showing this is because I've seen this, and it's not just me, right? I think collectively, if you're paying attention, you've seen this time and time again, right? Some type of a scandal breaks out, and there must be a scapegoat. There is always a scapegoat. Okay, this is just the way it works, right? People want somebody to blame. They want to be able to point the finger at someone, but beyond that point, people want to have this this general sense that justice is being served, right? That the system is working, and that people can't just get away with things that they're not allowed to do. Now, in the great financial crisis, I always go back to this, right? Because that was a very pivotal moment for me, right? I was like, at the time, how old was I? I think I was like 25, 26, whatever. It's in my late 20s, right? And I had just really begun my career. I was finally saving money, right? And then that happened. So the great financial crisis was really a big moment of awakening for me. And instead of seeing people and businesses that genuinely ruined lives, get penalized for what they had done, I saw them get slaps on the wrist. I saw them get that's okay, you'll get it right next time. A few losers were picked. Nothing actually happened to them. Sure, their businesses were dinged and their assets bought up for pennies on the dollar by the winners that were picked, of course, but nothing actually happened. Life went on. So when I see stuff like this, and I think to myself, like, yeah, you know, the government's gonna, you know, the people in power right now, they're gonna hold the Fed Reserve, you know, accountable. You know, they're gonna hold this institution accountable. Listen, friends don't hold friends accountable. And these guys, whether they are friends or not, they are all on the same team. And like I said before, they're all part of the same club. They are not going to hold each other accountable, but they are going to play the charade. They're going to put on the show. You're going to make it seem like someone is accountable. Look at what we're doing. It's just a show. Anyways, obviously, I hope that something real actually happens, you know, because that is the hope, right? Like we can't be optimistic without hope. So of course, I always have that hope. Unfortunately, that hope is always kind of overshadowed in the background with reality and experience. So take that as you may. Now, onto this. What's this guy's name here? Scott. What is it? Scott Cove or something like that. All right. This was something I saw today from Bitcoin Magazine. This is the Bitcoin Asia conference. I just want to play this clip, and we're going to discuss it. Here we go.
Right, who are you? What are you doing here at Bitcoin Asia?
I am Matt Cole, the CEO of Strive, and I'm here in Bitcoin Asia telling us about our company.
Yeah, awesome. This is the most exciting thing happening at Strive right now.
Our vote to become a publicly traded company in
Okay, he was at the Bitcoin conference, did this fake phone call with Mark Zuckerberg that I'm going to show you guys, and now here he is. And of course, right, that's what it is. They're going to go public. They're creating demand for the shares, right? You got to get out in front of people. Again, nothing wrong with that. Just need to understand, this isn't I love Bitcoin. This is buy my shares. Okay, that's what you're hearing. You're not hearing I love Bitcoin. You're hearing buy my shares. That's it.
reverse merge with ASST is live.
No, Tony, I am going to show you guys. Okay, and you're gonna deal with it, man. You're gonna deal with it. Okay, or you could just not watch the show.
Right now, the vote closes September 9th, and it's super exciting. And then we'll be buying over $700 million of Bitcoin.
700 million. Oh my gosh, that is so big. Okay, everyone, go vote.
Vote yes.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, anyways, all right.
Live from the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay, so it is my opinion that this is a fake phone call. He is either talking to an answering machine or he's talking to absolutely no one. That is just my opinion. You guys, tell me what you think.
Asking that Meta put Bitcoin on its corporate balance sheet. The case for putting Bitcoin on your corporate balance sheet has never been stronger. Right now, Bitcoin is over a $2 trillion market cap. And when you look at the macro picture, we have a global fiat debt crisis. M2 is rising almost every single day.
Because Mark Zuckerberg is sitting there just listening to this shit, right? Oh, it's a good point, Scott. Matt, whatever the hell your name is. Matt, that's a great point. Yeah, for sure it's an answering machine, dude. He's not, Tony, he's totally not picking up that call. Fucking Zuckerberg's sitting there in his backyard, right, smoking these meats, and he's looking at the phone. He's like, yeah, Matt, I'm not taking this call.
As M2 rises, the purchasing power of dollars, or dollars that are put in short-term U.S. treasuries, continues to decrease.
Mark doesn't know that stuff. Mark doesn't know that. Matt's teaching him. This is a teaching moment, guys. That's what this is. Anyways, yeah, look, obviously, I love Bitcoin. I appreciate I appreciate all the news. I appreciate all the attention towards Bitcoin, all of that good stuff. But I got to call stuff out when I see it. And if nothing else, it makes for great entertainment. Speaking of entertainment, tomorrow, doing an interview, and I am going to have Seed from he's the creator of the Seed Signer project, right? The another do-it-yourself signing device. Man, maybe we should rename this from Paper Bitcoin Summer to Do-It-Yourself Signing Device Summer. Maybe that's what's really happening, right? Maybe this is the self-custody summer we've been waiting for all along. Yeah, so Seed's gonna come join me on the show. We're both gonna talk about all the crap that's going on and the gripes that we have. And yeah, you're not gonna want to miss it. You're not gonna want to miss it. I am gonna cry. Maybe I'll even cry harder. Who knows? But it's definitely gonna be a fun show. Guys, have a great rest of the day. I'll catch you all tomorrow. Take it easy.